Rory, where do we start when we're speaking about frame of reference? Can you just explain to me what is a frame of reference?
Well, frame of reference is the world that we live in. So if I'm stood in a swimming pool up to my waist in water, my frame of reference will be that the bottom half of me will be very wet. Someone sat on the sidelines, their frame of reference would be they're dry and they're looking at me stood in a swimming pool, half wet. So the frame of reference is the actual reality that we live in. We're number one in our view of ourselves. It's very immediate. And I think that for students, one of the challenges in terms of being a therapist is understanding that people have very many ways of being that are maybe very different from ours. And it takes courage and insight to be able to leave our view of the world. If you think of me in the swimming pool up to my waist in water, it takes a lot of insight then to put myself in the seats of the audience looking at me. And that's effectively what you're doing. You're moving away from your reality of the world, moving into someone else's reality and putting yours to one side for the duration of the time you're with the clients. And it takes practice because your reality can leak in. To labour this metaphor to its conclusion, it's very easy if I, as a student thinking about me stood in the water, to look at someone sat in the stands and saying, they must be getting pretty cold stood there because this water's really cold. And actually, no, they're not in the water, you are. And to be able to separate your own experience from someone else's and to move into it. And it takes a lot of practice and self-reflection to be able to let go of your unique view of the world and all you hold to be true.
Yeah. And I'm going to be mischievous here and say, even when you feel that you've perfected that, it really just still is your frame of reference. It is your unique way that you see the world. I love a comment on this. The comment is from Anas Anin, and it says, we see the world not as it is, but as we are. And that sounds a little bit confusing in the beginning. It certainly did when I first heard it. But it really explains what frame of reference is, because each person is the culmination of the road that they have walked. Every single experience that they have had, all the interactions that they have formed the perception of how an individual sees and interacts with the world. It is their frame of reference. And then you were using the analogy earlier, Rory, of you standing in a swimming pool. And I was thinking about how many different frame of references there are around that. You may have one person who is afraid of water because of some reason. They would react incredibly different. You may have someone who has been starved of water for a long time that would be thirsty and want to drink the water. There are people that would want to swim because they're strong swimmers and see themselves as a strong swimmer. Exactly the same situation or the same life event can bring up very different things in different individuals. And the trick here is to not look at our own frame of reference as the ultimate truth, because it is not. It is a truth that we hold. It is our frame of reference, the way that we make sense of the world. And somebody out that is not us can have a completely different view of an event or a thing within the world, and it doesn't make them wrong, because for them, it is true. The same as our truths are true for us. So the starting point in counselling and psychotherapy is to not judge another's frame of reference, but to see it as the way they see the world and how they choose to interact with it. And it may differ from ours, but it is theirs. And we look on that without judgment. It's not a, what? You don't like cheese? That's wrong. I love cheese. Cheese is lovely. How can you not like cheese? It's not wrong. It is an individual's frame of reference. And you said, Rory, it takes a lot of practice to develop an understanding of frame of reference. I think it takes a lifetime, Rory.
It does. And you can see it on quite a lot of levels, really, in conversations. I know I visited people's houses. I've been to maybe a party or going out for something to eat. And one of the guests has said, I don't like this carpet. What made them choose this carpet? It's terrible. And you realise that's their frame of reference. They don't particularly like that carpet, but the host probably loved that carpet. And that, again, is a frame of reference thing. And it is a discipline, because what we have to do is we have to put to one side all we hold dear, all that we believe to be true and supports us in our journey in existence. We have to just put it slightly to one side. We don't have to discount it off or never access it again. But for the time we're with the client, we have to access their frame of reference and to try and understand what is driving, well, as Roger said, all behaviours goal directed. What is it that's going on in their lives without bringing in any contamination from our own frame of reference? And it's a very disciplined activity, because you literally have to put your own view of the world to one side to try and understand another's. And that's why people go to counselling training. It's a lifetime's work.
Yeah. And when we look at how this influences us as individuals and society as a whole, every argument, every war, it's all a differing of a frame of reference. No, my way is right, not your way. And so strong is that belief in our own truth that many have and will continue, sadly, to die for that. I will go and fight for this because it is my truth. It is the truth. But the person on the other side of that line is saying exactly the same thing. They're going, no, my truth. And that is how strong it is and how woven into society it is and how woven into our own psyche it is. And I think the work in this starts with self, because the only place that we can affect or make any difference is in our own frame of reference. And you used a great example and almost comical, somebody going, oh, how could they have chosen this carpet? There was a time when somebody went to the carpet shop and looked at all the samples and then said, wow, this is the one. This is really nice, this. I'm going to take my money out. I'm going to pay for this and I'm going to commit and put it on my floor. And when they put it in, maybe they were excited and thought, wow, I'm really happy with this. But yeah, it's so easy to look at it. How could they? And I wonder how often those kind of thoughts flash up in us, because we're only human and we are bound by our own frame of reference, what we like, what we think is correct. And putting that to one side in order to welcome a client and their material and who they are and their frame of reference. Wow. It's a privilege to be able to do, but it does, like you say, Rory, it takes a knowledge of self to be able to do this. And my frame of reference of what frame of reference is, Rory, will differ to yours.